Good evening, and bienvenue, my fond fair rouge raiders. This is your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, here to bring you part 4 of What If Naruto Was Trained in Faerune. Now, where we last left off, well, Naruto, with the help of a certain very important friend, infiltrated the dreamscape of a certain Sasuke Uchiha. To what end? We don't fully know. But from what he's stating, well, it's to teach him how to better use a blade. But could that all be all it's for? Who knows? We'll find out soon enough, won't we? We cut back into the blank, empty mindscape of Sasuke as he's facing off against Naruto, wielding this strange looking sword that honestly Sasuke's never seen a blade similar to it. It has two edges and a wide guard. It's very odd. It's not ornate, just looks plain and somewhat heavy. Not to mention he's holding it odd. He's got both hands on the grip, but he's holding it with the flat facing him and just staring him down. As Sasuke looks at this, seriously, Dobe, you think you can actually face me in combat, yet you don't even know how to hold a sword properly? To this, he sees a sinister smile encroach on Naruto's lips. Something he's never seen before. As he looks him dead in the eyes. Tell you what, if you can land one hit on me, I'll leave and never bother you again. You've got an hour. Remember, here you have no powers. This is a match of pure skill. Like I ever need any type of power to beat you. Especially when you don't even know how to hold a sword. As Sasuke brings his sword back, gives it a light spin between his fingers as he readies it up to bring down. As Naruto raises his sword straight up, catches Sasuke's blade on the guard, and in a quick, sudden move, turns the blade to where the edge glides straight down Sasuke's edge, and, well, slices off his fingers. As the pain shoots through Sasuke's body, the grass cutter falling to the ground, making a very loud clang, as Naruto just backs up a few feet, cracks his neck, rolls his shoulders, and then snaps his finger. And with that, the pain in Sasuke's hands stop. as he looks back down and sees all his fingers are properly attached again. As Naruto kicks the grass cutter back over to him. If you can see your opponent's sword, they're lying to you. Never judge what your opponent is doing from what you see. Judge what your opponent will do. Don't take an obvious bait. You know, like you just did. Sasuke picks up his sword and again goes for a heavy strike, now infuriated with Naruto, of all people, telling him what to do, even if this is a dream. As he comes down, Naruto parries and deflects the blows. Each heavy strike sliding across the blade as he angles it downward and away. And with the third one, he angles the blade. He grips the blade, puts it in the bind, and spins it off to the side before striking Sasuke down the middle. Again, causing severe amounts of pain before Naruto snaps his fingers. You don't have a guard. Don't get in the bind. The bind? Terminology. My apologies, you're not used to that. The bind is when two swords clash, and it usually winds up with both people trying to wrestle with the blades. Swords don't stick to one another. They are made of metal. Metal slides. They don't have friction, especially metal that is honed down to a razor-sharp edge. In other words, whenever you're trying to wrestle with swords, they're constantly sliding and moving. Your sword doesn't have a tsuba or any guard of any type, which means your fingers are in grave danger of being lopped off if they get in a bind. Mine has a guard, which means, guess what? My hand is relatively safer than your hand. Which means if we get in the bind, I have the advantage unless you can keep my blade away from your fingers. In addition to that, you also have to worry about the actual cutting part of the blade. What do you mean the cutting part? The entire blade? No, the entire blade length is not meant to cut. In all fairness, yes, keeping the entire blade sharp is relatively good. However, 90% of the cutting part of a blade happens with the last foot of the sword. That is where generally most of the power connects with, and generally where most of the power transfers through the edge. That is usually where you want to connect with your enemy. There is a reason why the sword has its length. I swear, it's like talking with a child. What did you call me? A child, Sasuke. When it comes to terms of actually fighting with a blade, you're a child. Not to mention you haven't even thrown any other type of punches or kicks while using the sword. I swear, what do people think? Why do you think that you're some swordsman? You never were one whenever you were growing up. Oh, I'm sorry, were you trying to separate yourself from Itachi better? Or was this just your sad attempt on trying to make yourself look even more cool? I am going to kill you. Oh, please do. You put me out of this misery. As Sasuke picks up the sword again and charges Naruto. However, over the next hour, it leads to no avail, as we see a very winded and exhausted Sasuke and a very nonchalant and bored looking Naruto. Ugh. If it makes you feel any better, well, I was kinda worse than you whenever I started, but then again, I never held a sword in my life. Yeah, no, I honestly don't know what to say here to make you feel better. Shut up. Fine. Our hour's up anyways. What? Pardon me? Yeah. What, did you really think I was gonna stay here longer just to try and teach you how to use a sword better? No. At most, we might do this once a week. Why? Well, for one, you kinda need it. For two, honestly, messing with you is a lot more fun now. Messing with me? Yes, messing with you, Sasuke. In case you forgot, you rammed your hand through my chest with the Chidori. You tried to murder me. I have every right in my being to want you dead. Yet I'm still trying to help you. Do you know why? Because you're pathetic. Don't know when to give up. Wrong. Honestly, I hated you after you did that. Thinking back upon it now, I was an idiot for trying to agree to bring you back. Huh? Yeah. What? I was 14 at the time, chasing off to try and get you from joining the crazy snake cult man. Yeah, I was stupid to have done that. Very stupid to have done that. But I did so because I valued you as a brother. Hell, that's basically the reason why I'm doing this. Because the last shred of my respect for you is trying to help you. Help me. Yes, help you. You don't have any fundamentals. All you do with your sword is utilize it with your techniques. You utilize it with your ninjutsu. Guess what happens when you run out of chakra? You have nothing to fall back on. Nothing. You don't have the muscle mass. And without chakra in your system, or at least a good amount of chakra, you can't reinforce your body and you can't make your blows that much more powerful than your standard, tuning. And even if you could, it's not as if your mastery of a blade, or clearly your lack of mastery with a blade, would help you. If anything, you'd be better off fighting hand to hand in your current state, because at least then you might actually get something done. But I digress. As I said, I have places to be and, well, things to do. Not to mention, you've already hogged up enough of my nighttime. I still need some beauty sleep. So, why don't you go relax and enjoy your time with your team that you made essentially to, you know, back you up? That's. What do you mean? Oh, don't play dumb. You literally got one guy there that acts as a battery pack for you. You have another guy who's a great tracker and can turn into water. And you have a girl there that can heal you up no matter what damage you take. You essentially built a team around your needs to track down your long lost brother, who you still haven't even thought about asking the most important question to yet. What? Well, that's not for me to say. Maybe next week. Anyways, bye for now, you crazy bastard. And like that, Sasuke wakes up in a very cold sweat, and Naruto wakes up on his end. Oh, I hate that part. Yes, you keep on telling me. So, what did you do? You know what I did, Talavin. You were the one that sent me there. Yes, I know. But I figured it'd be at least a good way to, break the ice and help you relax, brother. Man, I must really look like a sourpuss if you're using that old nickname. Yes, you do look a bit on edge. Why don't you head inside and get some sleep? I made some tea for you to drink inside. How did you... Mage hand. Will your talents ever cease to amaze me? Unlikely. After all, I am quite talented. Good night, Talavin. Good night, Naruto. As Naruto gets up and pops his back and walks in, drinks the nice, refreshing herbal tea, he goes into his room and eventually goes to sleep, where he begins to dream a dream of simpler times. Ugh. What the hell? Ow! We see a younger, more immature Naruto in the middle of a training field, getting knocked around by Caliban, who is, well, using a practice sword and basically constantly knocking Naruto around from one side of the practice field to the other without much effort. Jerk, hold still! Well, if I did that, then there wouldn't be much use in actually, training you. Might as well just put you in front of a practice dummy if I was going to let you score free hits. What's the point in this? I never said I wanted to join any of your dang stupid things. One, Caliban says as he punts Naruto in the head with the heel of his boot. You will never call my orders stupid again. There are many things that I do not tolerate. Besmirching my religion is one of them. 2. I never said you had to join. However, I will not accept some, well, little lamb that can't even defend himself from a proper melee. 3. You can't rely on just your fists and daggers and throwing stars. Ugh. These things are so dainty. Forever. Learning how to use proper weapons is a standard thing among human affairs. Proper weapon. Proper weapon, my ass. Oh? Well, and by all means, please, if you're able to land one hit on me by the time, say, the sun reaches the top of that tree line, I will let you do and go off wherever you please. However, if you're unable to land even one hit on me with your fist before then, you're going to have to do what I say, when I say, and how I say, for a minimum of a month. Sound good? Fine. You asked for it. Oh, and please, don't hold back. Show me everything that you can do. Please. Oh, now you're asking for it. As Naruto sets up the multi-shadow clone jutsu. And upon doing that, Caliban spins his blade around, stabs it into the ground, and says, "In the name of Tempest, I call upon your aid, warriors of old. Aid me in this battle to come." And with that one phrase, red auras of, well, light begin to emit from the ground as four spectral warriors rise from the ground itself, ready to fight. What the? I said come at me with everything. I never said that I wouldn't return the favor in kind, did I? And don't worry, I will hold back. After all, this is a training match. I'm not trying to hurt you. However, if I were you, I'd be very careful on how you approach these guys. Bastard! As the fight goes on, clone after clone after clone try to circle around, get into the weak spots behind Caliban as he charges into the fray, swinging his wooden greatsword towards, well, the onslaught of Naruto clones. The ones that try and circle around and flank him are dispatched by the astral warriors fighting at his side. Quickly, swiftly, and mercilessly. However, one goes unabated, as two of them transform. One into a giant shuriken. And if you know this technique, one into the shadow of that giant shuriken. As one tosses it straight at Caliban's head, he deflects it, sending it straight upwards. The second one comes through, he is deflected again, just to be met with a, well, kunai to be thrown as the transformation is dispelled. However, all it does is hit a spectral soldier, which then, well, fades. And with that, for a brief moment, Naruto can catch a glimpse of red light being emitted from behind Caliban's helm, where those slots peek through. And it actually scares him as he hears a guttural chuckle. Oh, now we're gonna have some fun. as Caliban gets into a more wild stance and starts swinging his blade around with more vigor and fervor, creating a figure eight style movement as he brings the blade upwards, moves off to the side for a diagonal slash, and repeating this process through the entire row of clones charging at him, with each swing increasing in speed over and over and over again. It both amazes and terrifies Naruto, as he can only think of two things to do. He makes 6 clones and has each of them go off to either side. Group of 3 go off to either side to create a Rasengan. They tried to flank him, only to be met with a wide sweeping arc, eliminating both sets of clones in a near instant. Naruto tries to charge in from behind with a kunai to stab him in the back, only to be met with a boot raised in defense right to the chest, sending him flying to the ground, landing in the mud. As Naruto coughs heavily and tiredly, Caliban walks over to him and smiles as he reaches out a hand. Naruto graciously accepts as he points off to the tree line where the sun has finally reached. Looks like I win, boy. Prepare for hell. Oh, damn. As Naruto wakes up from his quite lovely dream, in his opinion. Man. Oh, that was actually a good dream. Right. Oh, wow. He goes into the kitchen where, well, he sees Costello. Ah, Naruto. It's good to see you, my friend. Hey, Costello. What you doing? Cooking breakfast. You know what they say. Mighty stomachs need mighty nourishment. Yes, you say that often. Yes, do not worry. I'll make sure to add plenty of protein as well as vegetables to yours. Thank you. No. Did someone have a good dream? How could you tell? Usually when you wake up yawning heavily, it means your body did not want to, well, awaken. That either means you were lethargic, which you didn't have enough activity for yesterday for that to be the case, or 2, you had such a wonderful dream that, well, you didn't want to wake up. Yeah, you could say that. May I ask what you dreamt about? Please, if it's explicit, no, it's nothing like that. You know Maggie's the one to have something like that happen to her. Very true. Well, what was it about? Yeah, just dreaming about fighting with Dad. Oh, yes. That man. Oh, come on now. Do you two really have to be at odds? No, it's less of being at odds and more of just a clerical rivalry. Yes, you have your god, he has his god. Can you not just both get along? We do get along. Yes, but whenever you refer to him as that man, it kind of, yes, I apologize. I know you value him as a father. Thank you. But yes, Calvin, he just reminded me of the first time we had a sparring match. Oh, yeah. I was a bit of a hard-headed shit back then. Uh, back then? Okay, correction. I was still a hard-headed asshole back then. He knocked some sense into me. I can only imagine. Yeah. So you look fondly upon your past beatings. Only from that man. As Costello brings forward steak and eggs with a nice helping of, well, broccoli and, well, beans. Uh, Costello, only you can make something like this appetizing for me. Yes, yes, I know. After all, it's not your. What was it? Ramen? Ramen. Yes, yes, it's not your ramen, but it's good. Yes, I know. I know very well it's good. Honestly, this feels like a dream in and of itself. Oh, yes, I can understand that. So what time is it? Considering the time of day, well, considering how bright high the sun is in the sky, 5 a.m. 5? 5. Right. So what? You'd say a minimum of 3 hours for Talavin to wake. If I'm not mistaken, Mayphone is already outside practicing her archery. Half elves don't really need to rest. And, well, full elves, let's just put it this way, are a special, nice, roguish individual has decided to have a night out on the town. Of course she did. If she comes back with any loot, yes, yes, I know. Make sure none of it is stolen and make sure no one has died. Thank you. What will you be doing today? Honestly, my schedule is full. Oh? Well, first, Sakura didn't come track me down, which means either A, she's going to today, or B, she couldn't find me. So I'm going to try and make myself more accessible. I'm also gonna need to try and talk with Kakaishi, considering, yes, I hear things didn't go over too well with the both of you. Sending Stone? Sending Stone. I really gotta remember to turn that thing off whenever I'm over here, whenever I'm having private conversations. Yes, yes, you do. Anything else? Well, you could, try and relax. Sorry, I can't do that. Too much stuff to do. Not to mention, we still have to take out the Akatsuki before we can you know, even think about setting up a portal. Yes, unfortunately. However, I do believe there is something Talavin wanted to talk with you about. Said a breakthrough discovery he found out before heading to bed. Great. So I gotta wait for him to get up. More than likely. Fantastic. Anything else? Not that I know of. But I'll let you know if I remember anything. Yes, and whenever you say let me know, please do it in the form of, I don't know, something subtle instead of, chunking a javelin with a damn note attached to it. Oh, come now. You know that is one of the funner ways of receiving a letter. Yes, it's entertaining. The first 5 times. After that, it gets annoying. Yes, yes, don't you worry. I'll be relaxed. We're in the city after all. Your city. It's not my city. I want nothing to do with having. Oh? Never mind. Oh no, go on. It might be easier if you get it off your chest. I thought I wanted nothing to do with this place. The only reason I agreed to come back was for some closure. Possibly see if there are things that I wound up messing up with my absence. Maybe helping out with Gara and them. But the more I walk around and see these streets, the more of the fond memories you get back in your head. Yeah, it's understandable, boss. No need to be hard on yourself. After all, you're only human. Oh, don't you pull that sympathetic minor race card bullshit with me. I will kick your scaly hide straight up and down these streets. I'm sorry. You know I had to go there. To be fair, it did get my mind off of it. Ah, you see? Perfectly balanced. Ay. You know, Costello, I honestly can't tell what's worse. Your humor or your asinine remarks. Well, what can I say? One so naturally blends in with the other. Stay safe. Anyways, I'm going to head off myself. Oh, Lord. Do remember these people are not used to seeing, a 7.5 foot tall, draconic humanoid with, bluish complexion and just carrying around a hammer, shield, and heavy armor. Oh, I know, I know. That's the reason I'm going to be wearing a cloak. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, just gonna go to the farmer's market, see if I can procure some items. Costello, you're gonna stand out like a sore thumb. Indeed, it should be entertaining. Oh, we are gonna so get busted. And with that, Costello puts on his cloak and proceeds to walk out of the building as Naruto begins massaging his temples. Oh, at least the food's good. So, you wanted to talk with me? I was wondering when you were going to make your presence known, Sensei. Yes, after our last conversation, yeah, where I bit your head off. To be fair, it wasn't fully deserved. I was angry, and I let my emotions get the better of me. Been trying to hold that back, but honestly, the way the others tell me, it's better to get it off my chest now than store it for later. Yes, well, they seem to know best. They do. They're the family I've never had. Really? Yeah. Hell, I don't even want to be Hokage. What? You know why I wanted to become Hokage, Kakashi-sensei? To prove you're the most powerful ninja. No. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to have it to where people didn't look at me like I was a germ, a freak. I didn't want to be hated just from being looked at. I didn't want everyone looking at me like I was a fucking mistake. When I got sent there, I at first thought it was gonna be another thing of the same, but Calvin never did that. He never looked at me with hatred, bitterness, or resentment. It was hard to see what he was looking at me at when that fucking helmet he keeps on his face near 24/7. I swear I still want to know how he can sleep so long in heavy armor. But he never looked at me like I was a mistake. Like I didn't deserve to be there. He treated me like an equal in all things. Except the things where he told me not to do stuff, and hell, whenever I accidentally let the word dad slip, he didn't even correct me. He just smiled and went with it. At least I think he was smiling. He certainly didn't get angry, and he had a jovial tone. You're saying you don't know what he looks like? Oh no, I've seen his face on a couple of occasions. Unlike your ass. Again with this? Nah, don't worry, I get it. Honestly, people know Caliban as, well, the walking suit of iron. If he goes into a place wearing casual dress and without his helmet, no one knows it's him. Especially when he talks in a softer tone, I swear it's like being perfectly disguised. He doesn't need to do anything outside of just looking like that. It's honestly terrifying. Oh? Yeah, don't you say what you want, but he is really hard to spot whenever he's blending into a crowd. Yeah, he is yeah. But whenever he's in his full dress, ooh, he is terrifying. Just hope and pray to God you never have to face him in a fight. Oh? Why so? Well, he's a war cleric. A war cleric? He was the one that got me into my current faith. Tempest faithful. You you're religious. Yeah, you could say that. How did that come to be? Honestly, you wouldn't believe me if you told me, but it had a lot to deal with him. And you support war. Not in the way you're thinking, but in a way, yeah, you could say that I don't look down upon it. Okay, explain that to me. Alright, what is war? War is generally described as the fighting between two nations over a resource or disagreement. Yes, but it's more than that. That is a overly simplified thing. War is a fight between people, a test of skill, bravery, knowledge, strategy, and mettle. It is where the fires of the souls are lit and where people are laid to rest from dozens to hundreds to thousands to possibly millions. War is not romantic, nor should it be romanticized. War is terrifying. War is painful. But war is the ultimate acknowledgement of free will. Huh? I'm not following. Free will. When people have free will, naturally clashes are going to occur. Whether from person to person, group to group, nation to nation. Depending on how bad those clashes of free will are, you end up with a minor skirmish all the way up to a full-blown riot. And depending on how many people are behind your actions, you go from a minor riot all the way into a full-blown conflict. Tempest is a chaotic war god. He supports no one side fully. Huh? How does that work? Tempest's favor switches sides of the battlefield depending on whoever he chooses to be his champion. Whoever has done the most courageous deed, whoever has done more actions in his name. In fact, it's not uncommon for Tempest faithful to wind up clashing blades against each other. And they do not hate each other for it, for the most part. Have you? Yes. I fought and killed fellow brothers of mine in our faith, and I've laid them to rest. I see. That's kind of terrifying. I figured you'd say that. Let me put it to you like this. Would you rather someone who is biased and will support you no matter what decisions you've made, no matter what calling you have answered? Or would you prefer someone who is willing to change their mind, and if they don't look kindly upon your actions or deeds, move on to someone else who's more deserving? I choose the latter, as the former does not sound like someone who's worthwhile. Being overly loyal is the same way as being a traitor. You poison the person you're loyal to, or you poison the person you're beginning to betray. That's a harsh way of looking at things, Naruto. Yeah, guess what? The world is kinda harsh, Kakashi-sensei. But if it makes you feel any better, something like that doesn't happen often. Not to mention, well, we were talking originally about Caliban. Indeed. Indeed we were, Naruto. So, if I may ask, what makes him so terrifying? Well, war clerics are a master of their weapons, but they also cast their holy magics. Holy magics? Jutsus. Reinforced by their faith in God. Their God. I see. Do you have similar techniques and abilities? Yes. Granted, I'm a paladin, not a cleric. Paladin? Warrior of light, more focused on offense rather than defense. War clerics are more focused around the defense. In Calivan's case, it's more along being the best defense is the best offense. My opinion is similar, more brutal, and oftentimes a bit more intimidating. I see. So what can you do? Well, let's see here. Well, one of the first things I can do is, let's say, hold still for a moment. Alright. Hold person. How did you... I didn't even see a... Fully paralyzed, no? Essentially, hold person is a high-ranking ability of a conquest paladin. What did you... I immobilized you. To be fair, I can't do that too many times a day, but yes, it is satisfying to say the least. You didn't even use any hand signs. Well, of course not. Most magics from where we're from don't require hand signs. Now, they do require some hand movements, but nothing along the same lines as molding the chakra. You say magics, I'm used to the word. Allow me to put it to you like this. Something is very off about our people. What do you mean? I don't know how to properly explain it. Talavan is the smarter of us in that regard. We're gonna have to wait for him to wake up for a proper explanation. And with that one phrase, yes, yes, I'm up. Talavan? Yes, yes, what is it? Give me a moment, I need to put my face on. As he goes over to the sink and starts splashing his face with water. Why are you up so early in the crack as early as a crack in the morning? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because I forgot to tell you something last night. Because I wanted you to actually be able to sleep without having to overthink things. Okay. But it's important, and I know your crazy ass is not going to be patient enough to wait around for me to wake up properly. Pardon my language. Oh. Damn it, Talvin, now you got me doing it. uh, yes, revenge. But, back to my main point. As he pulls up a chair and sits down with the duo of Kakashi and Naruto. There needs to be an explanation made. Oh? Right, might as well go through with it. I'm assuming you're going to report all of what I'm about to say to your superiors, and I hope you do. Alright, Kakashi says kinda hesitantly. Right. As he makes that slight whistle, tiny little monkey comes over with a scroll in his hands and hops up and jumps over Talavin and drops it into his hands. That's a good Ubu. Ubu? What the hell? Familiar. Helps me keep track of notes and such. As Talavin unfurls the scroll and begins to point out at several things. Alright, so here's what I've been able to gather from your biology, as well as the brief biology of the people I've looked upon in this world while we've been here. Everyone here has a certain amount of natural energy and magic flowing through their body. The mana flowing within them. Mana? You call it chakra. Where we're from, it's called mana. Magical energy. A resource that is found easily and easily accessible through the air, water, ground, anywhere. You're kidding. Not in the slightest. You and your people have an innate amount of it stored inside of your body. The pros and cons are clear. Pros, it's easier for you to cast your magics and be able to utilize certain spell techniques. Cons, it all depends on your genetics. If you have good genetics, you can cast a lot of them. If you have bad genetics, you do not have enough mana to be able to cast most of them. Also, more pros and cons. More pros, you will not need to, well, possibly be within a mana-rich zone in order to cast magics, which might lead to you being able to cast them or utilize them in certain areas or zones. Bad side, if something were to happen to your interior mana intake, you would die. What do you... Basically, Sensei, he's saying, the standard you run out of chakra, you die thing. Okay, that makes sense. I'm still not used to your phrasing. Yes, but I am tired and I don't feel like adjusting my talk for simpleton speech. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to continue along with my lecture, and you can either choose to keep up or fall behind. I know at least he will somewhat understand. Please do not call my former teacher a simpleton. Fine, my apologies. I'm not myself in the morning. I'll make it up to you with a gift later. As with that, he goes back on his explanation. Now, the biggest problem we have here is the sheer fact that we utilize mana differently. As I said earlier, you use it from within your body. We use it from most of us use it from exterior, a mixture of exterior and interior manipulation. Huh? Wait, that sounds like sage arts. Sage arts? They take in natural chakra, nature chakra, into their bodies and manipulate it with their own to create powerful jutsu. I see. So there are people who can do that. You're saying everyone where you're from can do this? Not in your regard. Most of our people, as you can see on the diagram here, do not have this network that you all have. How were you able to make such a design like this? Well, simple. I studied him. Huh? Remember, we've been in a party together for over 5 years. I've been able to assess things from his memory that not even he knows he forgot. Just because he forgot that the memory is there does not mean the memory is not there. It just means he does not remember it. It just means he does not actively know of it. I am not called Talavan Dreamwalker for nothing. Oh, relax, he gave me permission. Yes, yes. Anyways, as for this, well, it's the best I can do on short notice. But from what I was able to understand, most of us from Faerune are like this. Blank. No secondary network for mana storage. Most sorcerers have a somewhat innate source, but that's more in the form of their internal reservoir, say here, in their chest or in their stomach, depending on how big it is or what type of, well, ancestry they possess. Sorcerers? Think of sorcerers as a. How do I properly put this? A group of people who have good ancestry, and that ancestry grants them power from their lineage, making it easier for them to utilize and cast spells. They have innate spell casting that, well, isn't accessible to most other peoples. But we're getting off topic. As I was saying, they do not have a secondary network as complex and, to be fair, overly done as yours or his. Honestly, it's mildly terrifying. I see. So what does this have to do with Sage style? I'm getting to that. You see, your Sage arts most likely comes from trying to utilize a style of our techniques with a style of techniques from here. Essentially trying to fuse together both your nature and nurture style, where your own internal body energy is trying to mix with your natural energy you're trying to absorb to try and perfectly balance them out. Doing so could cause a cataclysmic reaction inside your own body, resulting in possible implosion, explosion, or extreme body modification, if I'm not mistaken. However, I could be. I was rather tired when I thought of this. As for us, well, we can intake magic, but there's nothing in our way to, well, stop us from being able to absorbing it. We don't have an internal energy or mana network like you have. So absorbing it into our system is essentially free. There's nothing colliding, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing messing with it. The reason he's able to get away with it, and without any problems, is because he has such an overwhelmingly massive amount of his own energy to where, well, absorbing a small amount from the outside world isn't going to cause too much of a strain on his system. I see. However, this is coming with a drawback for us, Naruto. What's the drawback? Simple. Until we connect the portals, we're going to have to limit our operational time. Huh? How so? I would say we are going to have to divide our main groups up into two-man teams. If not, well, 2 to 3 man teams. We can't afford to have everyone using their abilities full blast non-stop. Maybe you, but other than that, no. Why? As I said, we absorb power from the air, the air around us, essentially. This area has little, and until the portals are connected, it's going to remain that way. We're essentially SOL, my dear friend. You're saying you guys are not going to be able to replenish your your spells? Well, I wouldn't say not able to. If my estimations are correct, we are in a mana low environment, which means it should take a maximum of 7 days to be able to properly replenish our power. 7 days? 7 days of rest. Not sleeping for 7 days, but 7 days with minimal to low activity to properly regain all of our capabilities. I see. That's rough. I know. Not something you want to hear. However, it is fact. I see. Well, at least it evens the odds a bit. Huh? Honestly, I thought bringing you all here was a bit overkill to begin with. The Akatsuki would never expect all of that. But knowing that we have this type of disadvantage kind of makes me a bit excited. Might have some fun. Oh no. Naruto? Unfortunately, I believe I've triggered his predator response. Naruto, please calm down, brother. There is no need for you to go losing your head over something this matter. As soon as we reset up the portals, well, mana will flow through and we'll be able to, well, properly restore energies with just a simple night rest. But we can't restore that until, yes, I know. Believe me, I know. It gives us more incentive to track down these, rogues, as you put it. Rogue ninja. Right. These rogue ninja. Well, I've said all I have to say. I'm going to bed. Ugh. Expositions are tiresome. I'm going to bed and come on, let me help you before you gain a thing of exhaustion. Thank you. Right. I'm going to head out, Naruto. You can. I know, Sensei, I know. Go ahead. That's the reason told you here while he told you while you were here. Killed two birds with one stone. Usually Talvin's general tactic. Yes, I understand that. Right. Have a good day, Kakashi-sensei. Good day, Naruto. And with that, I am going to wrap up part 4. I know a lot of things didn't really progress, but, well, getting the groundwork set up takes some time, and honestly speaking, my friends, that was a lot of groundwork I had to set up, and I promise some more interesting things will happen at part 5. I promise you. Till then, this has been your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge. God bless.